What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about Uncharted and whether I think we'll be getting another Uncharted game anytime soon, and whether I think we should even be getting another game anytime soon. This video idea just came to mind just because I feel like there's been this uptick in wanting another Uncharted game. There's always been a want for another Uncharted game ever since the series ended, but relatively recently I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people say they want another Uncharted game, specifically one with Cassie, Nate and Elena's daughter, and also Nate and Elena as mentors to her. This idea, along with the idea of having Sully and Sam in their own game, have kind of been floating around ever since the ending of the series since 2016-17. And really, I do think these are the only two options that there are for another Uncharted game. Making an Uncharted game with an unknown protagonist just doesn't seem like the way. But of those two options that I just previously mentioned, I think the more likely one, or I guess I should say the one that I think they should go with, is the one with Cassie as the protagonist and Nate and Elena as her mentor. Having a game with Sam and Sully could be cool, I think, but I also feel like that idea is not played out necessarily, but I kind of feel like it's repetitive. Even though we've only had one game and that game was with Chloe and Nadine, I feel like the idea of having this sort of spin-off thing where it's not with the main character, not necessarily a full game, I feel like that idea is kind of repetitive. Also, I just don't think there's any potential after making one game with them, right? Do you think they could make 3 or 4 games with Sully and Sam? Probably not. And would people care enough to have 3 or 4 games with Sam and Sully? Probably not. So where I think the potential lies is with what I mentioned before, having Cassie as the protagonist and Nate and Elena as her mentors. Now, I have seen people say that they think aging could be this barrier in making a game like that. I don't think that's a problem because we remember that Sully in Uncharted 4 mainly is like 60 years old. And let's just say they were to make Cassie 18 years old in the next game that they made, right? That'd make Nate late 50s, early 60s, Elena early 50s. So they're still young, they still got some life in them. The life that they lived, they'd be fine. They'd be able to keep up fine. I think really where the concern, or I guess the main question lies, is how would they handle Cassie? How would they handle her going about being her own treasure hunter and why she's doing what she does? I think there are mainly 3 ways as to how they could go about telling her story and writing her as a character. Her motivations on becoming a treasure hunter like her parents. The first one being that she just loves it all. She loves the thrill of it. She loves the action. She has fun doing it. A pretty simple one, right? The second one being she just loves the history of it. She's into it like Nate and Elena are. She loves the nature of it all. She's captivated by all of it. And the third one, which I think could be the most compelling one, the fact that she wants to live up to her parents' legacy, right? Mainly Nate's. I think that one would definitely be the most compelling one, would probably be the best story, or has the potential to be the best story out of the 3 I just mentioned. But anyway they go, I think most people would like and enjoy. I know before I said I think those are really the only 2 ways they should probably go in terms of making another game, but there is one more way I think they could take the direction of the game, and that's doing this sort of prequel thing, right? Nate's journey didn't start in Uncharted 1. He started all this when he was a teenager, but I'm not saying you should go all the way back to then. I'm thinking the years like 2000 to 2003, where Nate's anywhere between 20 and 23, 24 years old. If we look back at Uncharted 4, that prison sequence in Panama where, you know, him, Sam, and Rafe are in that Panamanian prison they have to break out after when things go wrong. Nate there, I believe, is 20 or 21 years old. Nate in Uncharted 4 is about 36, 37 years old, right? It's in 2016. Let's just say he's 36 minus 16 years. 20 years old, puts that scene in the year 2000 roughly, right? And as we can see in that time frame, Nate and friends are still up to their usual shenanigans. So I think there's still a lot of room they have to play around with, right, in terms of where they might want to take a prequel. That's probably the best time frame just because we don't have much around that time. Really, the only thing we have is that Panamanian prison sequence. Everything else is Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which is about 2007 and forward. Even Golden Abyss, I believe, takes place between one of those games, or 2 of those games actually. The only downside really would be that we don't have Elena. Chloe, I'm not sure when she came into the picture. It's possible that they met around like 2003, 2004, just because when we see them meet in Uncharted 2, they seem to have some prior history. Uncharted 2 was 2009, Uncharted 1 was 2007, so, I mean, we don't know, right? We kind of just have to guess. But Elena, we know Nate and Elena don't meet until 2007, so that'd be really the only downside, which actually is a pretty big downside because I think we all love Elena, right? I don't think I would want another Uncharted game without Elena, but still, I think that idea is still an idea that warrants discussion. I actually think it's one of the best ideas, even though I think the best idea is the one I mentioned before, having Cassie as the protagonist and Nate and Elena as the mentors. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, now with all the ideas that I just put out, do I think we will be getting another Uncharted game, especially relatively soon? I'm kind of leaning toward yes. And it's not really due to anything factual, it's all speculation really. So we know Naughty Dog are working on Intergalactic, right? We also know that they're working on another game. This is kind of a secret game, that's what everybody's been calling it. Nobody has any clue what they've been doing, just like nobody had any clue that they were working on Intergalactic. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers, I don't know if any of you guys who are watching this video remembers, but there was a state of play a couple years ago, and at this state of play, there was like a small few second clip, like 2 or 3 seconds maybe, where there was a scene of this young looking girl, blonde hair. You just saw the back of her head, that's really it, right? She was holding a torch in what seems to be a cave. And you know us gamers, right? Everyone jumped to the conclusion that that was Cassie from Uncharted. To this day, I have no clue. I don't think anybody has any clue what that game was. I don't know, like, I don't know. It's such a weird and curious case, you know? Because what was that even from? Like, that's why everybody's assuming that it was Cassie. Should we jump to that conclusion? Obviously not. But is it fun to? Is it fun to speculate? Of course. That's what we do around here. So that's just kind of my thought process as to why I think they're probably making another Uncharted game. I know Neil Druckmann has said that they're done with Uncharted. They're not going back to it ever, most likely. But game devs, game directors, all of these guys, they always lie, right? They can never just tell you the truth, because I mean that would kind of ruin the fun of it all. But we'll just have to wait and see, right? I don't know when this secret game will ever be shown, especially with Intergalactic seeming like it's the main thing, the main focus that Naughty Dog is working on. I've been saying that I don't think Intergalactic is coming out until 2027, so if that's the case, they're probably not going to advertise and show another game that they're working on before their newest game comes out. I could be wrong, but it's probably going to be a while until we see this secret game. There are talks, people thinking that that secret game is The Last of Us Part 3. That's another possibility. Of course, The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020. That game isn't over, right? That series isn't done yet. Neil Druckmann has been going back and forth on whether or not he thinks that there'll be a third game. At first he said he didn't really know what he was doing, then he said he had like a rough draft, then he went back on his word again, then he went back on his word again. Who knows? With these guys, it's like Rockstar. You just have to wait and see. You can't really try to look too deep into things, because there's just not much to look into a lot of times. Plus, again, these guys lie is part of the fun of it, okay? You can't go telling all your secrets out to the public all the time. Okay, now that was, do I think we'll get an Uncharted game in the future, right? Now for the part, do I think we should get an Uncharted game, another Uncharted game? This has never been an easy answer for me, just because of the ending of Uncharted 4, of even the Lost Legacy, but mainly for Uncharted 4. That was as perfect of an ending as you can get, right? Perfect isn't a thing, but that's the closest you could get, honestly. You don't really get many games, many stories with an ending like that, with such a happy ending like that. I'm tempted to say trying to revisit, trying to go back to it and recapture all that magic would ruin it, but I'm also tempted to say that I don't think in any way, shape, or form the legacy of Uncharted, the legacy of Nathan Drake could ever be ruined. I think it's all set in stone now. Like right now, it's been nearly 10 years since the ending of Uncharted 4. And if they were to make another game, by that time, it'd probably be like 14, 15 years. And at that point, again, everything is set in stone. I don't think you could really ruin the character, ruin what you did in the past. The only way I think you could ruin it is if you give Nathan Drake the Joel Miller treatment, in which I'd be distraught. I guess this is a cop-out answer, but really the only thing I could say is that if Naughty Dog believes that there's still potential, there's something to be told in the story, in the universe of Uncharted, then they should go for it. But if they have a hard time coming up with the story, with ideas in terms of the characters and where they can take these characters, where they could take Uncharted again, then they should probably just leave it. You don't want to take the risk, you know, even though I just said, yes, I don't think there's any way that they could tarnish the legacy of Uncharted, of Nathan Drake. You guys ended off on a high note. You ended off the story and the characters on a high note. Just keep it at that if you're not able to replicate it or do better. But you guys know the drill. As always, if you have any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments. Do you think we should get another Uncharted game? Do you think we even will get another Uncharted game? Do you think there's still some potential, there's some juice they could squeeze out of this franchise? Or do you think it ended on a high note? They should just keep it at that. And of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, like it up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.